Ladies and gentlemen, welcome out to NCP Nimbus Season 3 Draft Analysis. The Detroit Steelings are taking part. We did manage to join up right here after the end of our WBE season here. Things are picking up right here for NCP Nimbus, and we took over a team. We got to make some changes, and we're going to go through and break that down because every Saturday for the next 12 weeks, we are going to be going up one-on-one against some other coaches, and we are going to be doing our best to take them on with the team that we've assembled here. So if you guys are excited for some Draft League content, show some love with that like button down below. If you guys are new, feel free to subscribe as well. Two quick shameless plugs. First up, because we are competing in a Draft League, pick up some Detroit Steelings merch. Rock it with me every Saturday during these battles. You guys can root on your favorite team every week, week in and week out. Shirts, hoodies, you can get a pillow for crying out loud. They're all there. And then, of course, at the time of recording this, I still am in the G Fuel Madness contest. If we do make it into round 4, which is today, then of course you can use code CBAD to save 30% on G Fuel. The creator with the most code usage during the month does get their own custom shaker as well as a fantastic cash prize. And then if I'm not in the contest at this point anymore, use it for 10% off for any fantastic purchases because, quite frankly, I love it. I'm drinking some canned Fazeberry right now. So we are going to go on ahead and draft up. Talk about our draft. So we were given a team of 10 Pokemon, and we could make unlimited transactions, trades, free agents right out the gate with whatever was left on the board. I kept one Pokemon from that 10, and I ditched everything else. So the first Pokemon we're going to talk about is the first of the 10 Pokemon that I kept from the team, and that is going to be CBAD Bless our Jirachi. Jirachi is a Steel and Psychic type Pokemon with base 100s across the board. Let me stop for a moment. Some rules really quickly about the NCP Nimbus Season 3. So this is a post-Pokemon home draft league. There are no Gigantamaxing, and there's no Gigantamaxing, no Dynamaxing allowed, so there is no Gmax draft. This is as standard as it can get as far as it goes, and then every rules typically follow standard Smogon stuff. So things like Sleep Claws, things like Evasion boosting, things of that nature, those moves are typically unallowed, and should anything come up on a circumstantial basis, I'll address it in the team builder or the battle. But just so when you guys take a look at the team on the top of the screen, you're not like, where does he Dynamax? Where does he Gigantamax? That is not in this league this season, so I'm excited because personally, we are going to have a fun time with this. So back to the board. Jirachi, CBAD Bless the Jirachi, Steel and Psychic typing, Jirachi's base 100s stats across the board. It is a very diverse Pokemon. It is a very diverse Pokemon. It can Baton Pass. We can, I believe, I'll double check. If it's standard Smogon, then we can't Baton Pass at all, but I believe there may be some stat passing, but we can set up with moves like Calm Mind. We do have access to things like Aura Sphere, Dazzling Gleam, Drain Punch. We have Healing Wish access. We can go for Meteor Mash. We can set up screens. We can set up rocks. It's a very reliable rocker. It gets access to Steel Beam now, which is really, really cool. It can Thunder Wave. It can Trick. It can U-Turn. It can Trick Room. It can Wish. It can do a ton of stuff. Doom Desire is a great move. It's got a fantastic move pool, frankly, and the Serene Grace ability. Pokemon's moves have their secondary effect chance doubled, so when we go for an Iron Head, which has a 30% chance to flinch, boom, it now has a 60% chance to flinch, and people hate Jirachi. So I really like Jirachi. I think it provides for a very nice typing. I think it provides a great rocker, as well as potentially some good offensive support. I have used Jirachi in previous I believe it was the last season I was actually in the GBA, where I did use a Future Sight Jirachi, and I really like the Pokemon. I think it's a great Pokemon. I really wanted to keep it around and see how it performed in the new post-Pokemon home meta. So pairing off with Jirachi, I did want something to kind of help out with the fire weakness. We're doubling up on a ground weakness right now, unfortunately, but taking care of a little bit of that fire weakness that it does have. We have Plague the Toxapex. Toxapex is a poison and water type Pokemon with access to the Regenerator ability. You guys know what Toxapex does. It gets access to Haze. It gets access to a few little moves here and there. It's access to Toxic Spikes. It can get Knockoff as well now that we are out of it still gets Knockoff. It gets a ton of fun stuff. You guys know what Toxapex is here. You guys know what it's here for. It's a bulky Pokemon. Bulky waters are always really good in league format, I find. And pairing that with Regenerator is really nice as well. The next Pokemon we have on the team is Equinox the Umbreon. Umbreon is a Pokemon that I've used in a WBE season time past. I believe it was season 2. Season 2 of the WBE, I use this. Umbreon is a great cleric. It can Wish Pass. It can Foul Play. It can heal. I believe it is Heal Bell. Does have access to things like taunt as well. Being able to baton pass around without doing stat changes is really, really cool as well. It's a really nice wish passer into some other Pokemon. It can status things with things like Toxic. It can go for moves like Yawn. It's got the Synchronize ability, so if a Pokemon tries to Toxic this, burn us, poison us, paralyze us, we go on ahead and synchronize that back on over to them, which is really, really nice. Super bulky, super bulky. So we've got base 100s. We've got 152 base defense, 142 base special defense on Toxapex. Umbreon has 95 base HP, 110 defense, and 130 special defense. So people are going to have a little bit of a hard time trying to break through this, and we're not done. We're not done. We have the thickest team in the draft. I do want to say that. But Umbreon is there. Umbreon does provide us a Psychic immunity, which the Toxapex is weak to, and Toxapex serves as a fairy check, as well as a Jirachi serving as a fairy check to help out with this. Toxapex also serving as a bug check as well. The next Pokemon we have on the team is Gumby, the Reuniclus. Reuniclus is a Pokemon I've said I always wanted to try and draft, and when I saw that around, I was like, I really want to give this a shot. I really wanted to give it a shot. Reuniclus has 3 pretty awesome abilities for League play. It does have Overcoat, making it immune to powder moves, Rage Powder, Spore, Sleep Powder, things like that. Weather, like Sandstorm and Hail. Magic Guard, we can only be damaged by direct attacks, so Life Orb damage is a no-go. Hazard damage is a no-go. Toxic and Burn damage is a no-go. And then we do actually have the Regenerator as our hidden ability, so we can potentially have a Regenerator core between Reuniclus and Toxapex, just making it that much thicker. It's so awesome. It is so awesome. Reuniclus actually has quite a bit of moves that I do like that it has access to. Talking about its base stats: 110 base HP, 125 base special attack, 85 base special defense, and 75 base defense is pretty solid in my opinion. It can set up with moves like Calm Mind. It gets access to Encore should Pokemon try to set up on us. It does have access to things like Flash Cannon, Focus Blast, Grass Knot. It can run Screens. It can run Psychic and Psyshock. It can Pain Split. It can Recover. It can Shadow Ball. It can Thunder Wave. It can Trick. It can Trick Room. It can set up with things like Acid Armor as well. It's a very nice Psychic type Pokemon. We are doubling up on our Psychic types here with this and Jirachi, but I think both of them serve a completely separate role on the team, although they do share some weaknesses. And seeing as how we do have our Dark Resist, we do have a Ghost Resist, we do have a Bug Resist. I'm fairly confident that we will be okay doubling up on that typing as far as it goes. We're very bulky. We're very passive right now at this point in the draft. I did want something that helps us give a little bit more momentum. You know, we can potentially baton pass no stats with Pokemon like Umbreon as well as Jirachi. We can U-turn with Jirachi, and I want something to start hitting hard without any means for setup or things like that. So next up here, we do have Tigress, the Incineroar. She can rock either Blaze or Intimidate. More commonly than not, probably Intimidate. 60 base speed, which isn't too crazy, but it's an incredibly bulky Pokemon. 95 base HP, 115 attack, 90 defense, 80 special attack, and 90 special defense. The moves that this thing gets access to, I actually really like how they what we've got nowadays. So we do have access to setting up with Bulk Up. We can use moves like Close Combat now. We do, of course, have the signature Darkest Lariat. We've got priority with Fake Out. We've got a ton of fire moves here. We've got moves like Flare Blitz as well, of course, to hit really hard and take advantage of our base attack stat there. Some partial recovery with things like Leech Life, Low Kick for the heavier Pokemon. We do have a little bit of momentum here with Parting Shot, which is really nice as well. It can allow us to set up with some of our other Pokemon that we do have on the team here. Being able to set up with moves like Swords Dance, being able to Thunder Wave, being able to toss off Will-O-Wisp, being able to Throat Chop sound-based Pokemon from going for moves like Hyper Voice or things of that nature. U-turn as well, another way to get out of there. I believe I said a Taunter. If not, it is a good Taunter. I really do like this Pokemon. I think it provides a lot of momentum, and I think it provides a lot of breaking potential to aid the other instances on our team as well. I did want a Grass type to pair along this, so we do have our Water type Pokemon with the Toxapex. We now have our Fire type Pokemon with Incineroar. I did want another Psychic type another Grass type, or I wanted a Grass type on the team. And our Grass type is actually going to be Bouquet the Roserade. Roserade has some pretty awesome abilities as far as draft is concerned with moves like Natural Cure. Major status conditions are cured when we switch out. Poison Point, being able to poison a Pokemon on a 30% chance. And then Technician, Pokemon's moves of 60 power or less have 1.5 times power, including Struggle. The downside to Roserade this generation is that it no longer has access to Hidden Power, which was really nice, Hidden Power being boosted by Technicians, but We are doubling up on our poison types, but seeing as how now we have we now have 2 dark types, I was pretty comfortable taking on that psychic weakness because we do have the 2 immunities. We also have a very solid resistant Jirachi. We do have a fire weakness now, which is pretty patched up by Pokemon like the Incineroar as well as the Toxapex. We got a flying weakness, which Umbreon can still take. Like, it's a neutral hit, but Umbreon's still pretty bulky. And then Jirachi, of course, takes care of that. Flying Ice is taken care of by Incineroar, by Toxapex, by Jirachi as well. So I definitely think Roserade was a very solid pickup. It does have Cleric abilities with moves like Aromatherapy. It does get access to, of course, its moves like Dazzling Gleam, Energy Ball, Giga Drain, Leaf Storm. It can throw off Leech Seeds. If you do decide to run a physical set, it can run Power Whip. It does have access to Shadow Ball, Sleep Powder, Sludge Bomb. It can set up Spikes. It can also set up Toxic Spikes. It does get access to Synthesis as well. Let me just take a look. It can set up the grassy terrain, of course. And let me just take a look through here. And then, of course, it does have access to Weather Ball as well, which could be really, really nice. Do we get growth? We do get growth, so we could run a sunny day growth Weather Ball Giga Drain set and just kind of see what happens there. But Roserade's spread is rather specially offensive. It does have 125 base special attack, which is awesome. 105 base special defense to take those hits a little bit better on the special side, and then 90 base speed, which is pretty solid for a grass type Pokemon in my opinion. I believe I have used Roserade before. I feel like I have used Roserade before. I do like Roserade. I think it's a fantastic Pokemon in League format. We currently do have a Steel type on the team. I do want a Fairy type, and there frankly were few and far between Fairy types to choose from after the draft had already been done, and we have to kind of pick and choose what we want and where we want it. So we did actually end up going with Togetic. Scrambled the Togetic is here. Scramble does have access to Serene Grace, so we do have a secondary Serene Grace user. It also has access to moves like Hustle for the base 40 attack that it has, but it does have Super Luck, which raises the critical hit ratio by 1 stage. Togetic is a middle stage Pokemon, so it does get access to Eviolite, making it just a little bit more bulky. It does have access to Wish Passing. We do get to have Defog on it now that Home is available. We can Encore Pokemon. We get a large coverage of moves that we can go from here. Moves like Ancient Power, Dazzling Gleam, Extra Sensory, Fire Blast, and Flamethrower, Grass Knot, Heat Wave, Hyper Voice. We can set up screens. We can set up with Nasty Plot as well. We can recover with moves like Morning Sun and Roost. Being able to toss off a Thunder Wave. We can Trick. We can also Wish Pass as well, which is really, really nice. Being able to provide defog support is really, really nice for our team. Getting access to moves like Mystical Fire, Top of Flamethrower, and Fire Blast could be something as well. We can Psycho Shift any status ailments, which is also really, really nice. And then Stored Power. Stored Power, I actually don't think I knew it got Stored Power, so that could be another type of, that could be if we, Ancient Power, Stored Power. Just wait on the 10-20% boost. We get that. If we make it to the playoffs and have a few weeks, I'm going to run Ancient Power, Stored Power Togetic. I really am. I just want to throw that out there right now and speak it into existence. But it does have rather low attack stat and a speed stat. It is meant to be more bulky, but base 85 defense and 105 special defense paired with an Eviolite are very nice. We do need to be careful because, of course, Eviolite Pokemon can be knocked off now that Home is out. More Pokemon are having access to knockoff. So something to keep in mind there. We've got our Steel type, we've got our Fairy type. Next up here, we've got our Dragon type. Another Eviolite Pokemon that has access to Eviolite. We did grab Dracloak. Dracloak is a Dragon and Ghost type Pokemon. It is the middle evolution of Dragapult. It has access to Clear Body, Infiltrator, and Cursed Body. Clear Body being able to come in on things like Sticky Webs, not being able to be intimidated, things of that nature. Infiltrator being able to go through substitutes, screens, etc. And then Cursed Body, a 30% chance that we can disable a move, so should it be a choice locked Pokemon, that is an opportunity that we may have. Dracloak is a spin blocker. It is actually also, as of this point, the Dracloak is actually the fastest Pokemon on our team with 102 base speed. The stats are a little bit underwhelming. We've got base 80 attack and base 60 special attack, so pairing Eviolite with either the base 50 defenses might allow us a hit or two to be able to set up. But as far as setup goes, we have access to Agility. If we are able to pass any of these moves, we can Baton Pass and Agility. We have access to Disable. Draco Meteor, Dragon Dance, Dragon Pulse, Dragon Tail, Fire Blast, Flamethrower, Hex, Hydro Pump, Outrage, Psychic Fangs, Scald, Shadow Ball, Sucker Punch, Thunder Wave, U-Turn, Will-O-Wisp. It's a really, it really is a Phantom Force. I mean, it really is just baby Dragapult, and being an NFE mon, a non-fully evolved mon with access with 102 base speed was pretty budget in my opinion. I really enjoyed planning for this thing in theory in the WBE should Joey have brought it. So I'm gonna bring feeties. I want to try out. I want people to be afraid of my feeties. I'm excited for it. I'm excited for it. Next up here we have Where's My Hug? The Hitmontop. Hitmontop provides us a secondary form of hazard removal on top of the defog support that the Togetic provides for us. It has access to Intimidate, Technician, and Steadfast. Intimidate and Technician being the two more reliable moves. As far as the stats go, 95 attack and defense, 110 special defense, and 70 speed. We have access to moves like setting up with Bulk Up, Priority and Bullet Punch, hitting hard with close combat. Moves like Drill Run. We have access to Facade, of course, Priority and Fake Out, High Jump Kick, Low Kick, more Priority and Mach Punch, Rapid Spin, which is really, really nice. Also being able to boost our speed is cool as well. Being able to have more Priority and Sucker Punch. This Pokemon has a ton of Priority. It doesn't get much recovery, which is why I'm glad that we are able to have Healing Wish support with Jirachi, Wish support with Umbreon, and then of course Wish support with Togetic as well, to be able to kind of boost it up. Pairing this with another Intimidator on the team of Incineroar is really good for those Pokemon that can otherwise be really, really devastatingly strong. I know week 1 we're going up against a Melmetal team, so that could be good there. We also have, I believe, Kyurem Black was also allowed. The Darmanitans are probably running around in here somewhere as well. I didn't get to see the full draft. I just kind of was given the team and said, pick and choose what you want. So here we are. Hitmontop does provide a little bit more passive nature alongside. We've got Jirachi, which can potentially break. We've got Reuniclus, which can potentially break. Incineroar and Roserade, which can potentially break. Dracloak being more of a utility. Togetic, Umbreon, and Toxapex being a bit more... being a little bit more utility defensive Pokemon. Hitmontop can potentially break in certain instances, but it also definitely has more of a defensive role. I wanted another Pokemon that could allow us some breaking potential on there. And frankly, that was Blueberry the Beartic. I really think Beartic hits hard, and I think it's got some pretty cool coverage as well. We do have access to all 3 of the abilities, Swift Swim, Slush Rush, and Snow Cloak. So should we go up against any rain teams, or should we go up against any hail teams, we will be able to plan for that accordingly and double our speed. Our speed is only base 50, but at 252 with a Jolly Nature, 112, we're outspeeding pretty much everything. It's not Scarf. I'm pretty sure Jolteon, being one of the fastest Pokemon, gets 200. And then Pokemon like Dragapult, we need to double check that, but I'm pretty sure we're getting up there as far as when we get max speed and in either the hail or the rain. But as far as Beartic's moves go, it does get priority with Aqua Jet. It does have access to Body Press, which uses the defense stat instead. So I don't know if we'll ever use that because we do only have a base 80 defense as opposed to our base 130 attack. But we do have access to Facade. We can go for Focus Punch. We've got Heavy Slam, Ice Fang, Ice Punch, Icicle Crash, Icicle Spear, Low Kick, Liquidation, Night Slash, Play Rough, Rock Slide, Stone Edge, Superpower, Swords Dance, Taunt, Throat Chop. It's got a lot of really hard-hitting moves, quite frankly, that I think can catch our opponents off guard if played properly. Like I said, paired with being able to set up our own Hail, being able to set up our own Rain with access to moves like Hail and Rain Dance, respectively, we should be able to do that. And then we can also potentially phase out some Pokemon with Yawn. If we toss off a Yawn and they don't want to stay in and get put to sleep, we go for Yawn on the switch. We set up and go for our Hail or our Rain, and then we're good to go. Or we just go for a Swords Dance or something like that. Something else to mention is that think Pokemon like Incineroar, Pokemon like Beartic, potentially even Pokemon like Hitmontop, we do have access to a few Trick Room Pokemon, which can provide a little bit more support on that end. So that's going to be the team, frankly. Those are our 10 Pokemon. We've got Jirachi, Toxapex, Umbreon, Reuniclus, Incineroar, Roserade, Togetic, Dracloak, Hitmontop, and Beartic. I do quite believe we are the thickest team in the league. Of course, let me know your guys' thoughts in the comment section down below. Don't forget, make sure you guys pick up some merch. You guys can rock the Detroit Steel Wings merchandise with me every Saturday as we take on our opponents. And we are going up next week against the LA Guerrilla Tactics, I believe. So that is going to be a fun matchup. We will have that up next Saturday as well for your viewing pleasure. Of course, don't forget, if we are still in the G Fuel Madness tournament, you guys can use code CBAD to save 30% on your G Fuel, 20% on the cans. And then, of course, if we're out of the tournament, feel free to use it for 10% off, or if you want to support one of the other creators that are in the tournament as well. All that being said, I want to remind you guys to be great, do great, and I'll see you guys for our week 1 battle. Later.